Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is DLPOV, and now that JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4 has finally released their opening and ending song, which with beautiful animation, by the way, let's dive into a little bit everything that we can see, because there's a lot of little hidden things that we just have to talk about. Before I go on, however, just huge spoiler warning, because there is a lot that goes throughout the entire series that is shown already in this first opening. So the first image I'll show you right here, the main protagonist on the podium, Jojo Part 4, beautiful. The lights flashing over here there. You can see that they're going to keep this color palette as well throughout this opening and ending, the purple-ish color palette that they have. From left to right, we have Okuyasu, Josuke, Jotaro, and Koichi. Since this is full of spoilers, basically, I'm sure that most of you already know that, or at least are listening to, are aware that Okuyasu is going to be featured in the next episode. He's going to start off as a villain, but will turn into a good guy right away. So then what we have right here is, like, I'll probably display them right here. It's just beautiful imaging of the protagonists again, each with their own wallpaper. It looks like a wallpaper. I personally, despite the fact that I'm not a huge Koichi fan, I personally love Josuke's and Koichi's the most. Jotaro feels a little bit weird. Like the hand doesn't feel proportionate to the body, I feel. And Okuyasu, just the facial expression. But like Josuke's is badass. Koichi's as well. Absolutely love it. Then we basically get, after the flashing of the images, we get what it seems to be Morio like in the background displayed, and all these shadow characters flashing by. The first one that you can obviously see around this side is the image of Josuke's shadow, and it is referencing one of the manga panels, or at least covers, where Josuke is featured with Araki's original art. Next thing I want to show off is basically right here. So this is probably going to be taking up the full screen, and we get all the characters, and I'm talking about all the characters. I'll try to name them up quickly. Like the first one that you see right here is Koichi after he activated Echoes. After he gets his stand, and the egg hatches and Echoes comes out. Very DBC-like, which is good. Like it was obvious that Araki was inspired by Dragon Ball Z around that time. Echoes is a reference to Cell, and Koichi a little bit to Gohan, and this form basically Gohan transforming Super Saiyan. Then we have to its right we have Okuyasu. To his right we have Keisho, which is Okuyasu's brother. And wow, it's just like the fact that they got all the characters in is just fucking amazing. Because we see right here, Aya, she plays like a small role in this little arc with Koichi and Yukako, who we'll see later. Her and her stand, Cinderella, of course. Then we have everyone's favorite stand, Stray Cat. Next we have Kira, Red Hot Chili Peppers. I'm hyped to see him. I'm really hyped. I want to see Red Hot Chili Peppers in action. Then we have Tamami, who brings up an interesting concept of battling with a stand. I find like the lock is an interesting stand, not the most useful one, but under a certain circumstance, it can be really powerful. And I love the way he gets his fighting in the manga. Absolutely love it. Then we get this motherfucker, which is Yoshihiro Kira, which is Yoshikage Kira's father, of course, the main antagonist's father. Him and his stand, Atom Heart father. Not too crazy about the character, but I can see the importance of him in the story. I don't mind him being in this part. Kinoto then we have, which is not really like Kinoto. Like you guys probably, some of you may remember his name, some of you may not. Some of you probably already forgot about him. He's a guy with this friggin' with this really. This is one of those bizarre stands, in my opinion. A cheap trick. That's the name of the stand, and the fact that no one can look at his stand or else you fucking die. I don't understand the use of it. Because it's basically a self-destructing stand almost, or at least one that it's meant to kill people. Him and the Rohan part, I'm curious to see how it's gonna get animated. I liked it. I liked it a lot. There we have Angelo in his like Jesus-like form, Jesus-like pose. We already saw him, so next up we have is Hasamada, which is with his stand surface, the puppet that turns to whoever Hasamada wants. So I'm curious. I liked him being one of the early villains, and I liked his inclusion into the story. It didn't have much purpose though, so fuck that. Next, Miyamoto, Enigma. I love him. Like, I love the concept of Enigma in the stands, but won't go too much more into it. I just want to say that this guy looks straight up like a Yu-Gi-Oh character. He looks like Yami Yugi, especially in the shadow, like right now, the silhouette. We have Invisible Baby, of course, and there we have, to the right, the man, Yoshikawa Kira. I don't even need to say his fucking stand. You know it. Killer Queen. So hyped. I want to see it. Next up, we have, let me read this out loud. This is Miki Taka. I didn't remember his name too much. It's basically the alien that's supposed to come. He is the most bizarre inclusion in the story, and in my opinion, one of the most bizarre characters in the entirety of JoJo. So it was weird. I don't know how I feel about him. But as I mentioned, everyone's gonna be included in this. It seems like everyone's gonna be included in this part. So right up next, we have Old Man Joseph right here. I didn't recognize him at first, and I had to give him like a good 5-6 seconds look before I really understood. Oh shit, this is Joseph. Yeah, man, I'm curious to see how his voice actor. I'm curious to see how he's gonna sound now. I don't want generic old man Japanese voice actor. I want something a little bit different, a little bit bizarre. Next we got Fugami, who stand is Highway Star, which, in my opinion, creates one of the most interesting parts, which is in the JoJo's fighting, which is Josuke riding the motorcycle, and when he's about to hit the baby, like, he just fucking breaks it, and so that none of the parts hit the baby, and then uses Crazy Diamond to reconstruct it and just go on further. Like, I fucking love that. His conclusion is also possibly one of my favorites of this part. Like, the conclusion to his fight, like him in the hospital and Josuke being like, oh, okay, I can't hurt someone who's sick or already like damaged, so let me just heal you back to your normal self, and then I'll fuck you up. Oh my god. That was also an attack in JoJo's All-Star Battle Royale, if I'm not mistaken. So next we have Toyohiro Superfly, the freaking tower. Yeah, okay. I'm curious to see that part as well. I'm curious to see part 4 has a lot of good parts. Next up we have Yukako, of course. Yukako and her stand, Love Deluxe. Beautiful girl. Remember, kids, don't stick your dick in crazy. Next up we have Rohan, possibly my fourth favorite character of the story, and you get a little bit of a glimpse of his stand over there, like Heaven's Door, like him holding the piece of paper with the face on it. Perfect. Next we have like Patio over here, Shigechi, Harvest. Not a huge fan of him. We'll see how if the anime can change my mind on him. There we have these motherfucking rats who I don't feel like talking about, but yes, those of you who know, sniper rats. Yeah, Next up, we have, and I wanted to give him the whole page. It's not really like in order, but I just like the layout of this page. So we have Tonio to the right. On the right side, we have Tonio. Let me read this perfectly or correctly. Trusardi, Tonio Trusardi, and his stand Pearl Jam. Now, fun little fact: his stand, his his arc is what got me into JoJo in general. When I heard from someone that Josuke basically punches a plate of spaghetti because he found it suspicious, I fucking couldn't believe what I was hearing. I looked up the panel and I was like, let me take a look at JoJo. And since then, I've fallen in love with like the entire series. So yeah, Tonio, you get like 2 thumbs up from me. The last one on this page we have Oyanagi, which is Boy to Man, which is that whole rock paper scissors game that he plays with Rohan. Um, so yeah, not a huge fan of his arc either, but curious to see how the anime is gonna handle him. Next up, we have the Jotaro shadow, which is not really relevant to me, in my opinion. We know it's Jotaro, and then we have the title card. So then we get, let me see if I can. Yeah, I'll just put this in like the whole page as well. Um, we have Josuke walking, and we just see some. This is beautiful animated, by the way. But I just want to talk about the signs that we get over here. We see there over there to the center right, Crazy Diamond over there. Behind Josuke, behind the Crazy Diamond sign, we see like this pen tool. If I'm not mistaken, and this pen symbol, and that obviously references Rohan. To the left, we have like the skull with the 2 knives. That's obviously Killer Queen. Yes. To its left, I see. I think that's either that could mean 2 things: either harvest, or my most obvious guess would be Okuyasu's symbol on his coat, on his uniform. I don't recognize all the symbols here. I don't understand everything here. If you guys do, please type in the comments down below. Anything that I miss, please type it in there. I'm really curious and I want to know more. So after that we basically get these 3 panels that I'll probably put over here, referencing all the important people in these secondary characters arc. So we have Yukaku for Koichi. We have Okuyasu's brother and his father, like being represented as shadows, and then we get the poses. Yes, we get the poses right here. I love that they're. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this, to be honest. Like, I like I hold the whole aspect of like this funky beat with the disco lighting and all that shit, but I don't know how I feel about them not including Koichi's stand already. Um, I feel like it should have, because if anyone who's watching the opening is already been spoiled on a shit ton if they press pause, like, and trying to inspect the opening, so they probably got spoiled already on some characters, on some silhouettes. So, and Koichi getting echoes. I guess you can argue that Koichi silhouette, it doesn't give too much away, but fuck it. Also, it's worth noting that the whole disco aspect, the whole funky song, and the whole like the disco balls that you see throughout these three images right here, it also fits well with the fact that that Josuke's stand is called Crazy Diamond, and what happens when you put a diamond like under light, and it creates like these crazy lights, light flickers all over like a disco ball. So I kind of like that. I like that idea. As you can tell, it's keeping the whole purple-ish, pinkish color palette to it. Next up, we have Jotaro basically just pointing to the sky, and you see like balls, like circles, going around him. Like, does it reference Jotaro using the world towards the end of the series, or I don't know? Next up, we have basically like just characters dancing. That's all I can say. With Morio in the background, we have Josuke, Koichi, Okuyasu, Hasemata, Tamami, Yukako, and Tonio all dancing. I'm happy that they didn't put Jotaro up there dancing as well. He just gets to point. Then you see Crazy Diamond basically reconstructing the wall behind them or in front of them, and you get a beautiful shot of like the hand doing his thing, like just swiping and creating an opening, which transitions beautifully to Josuke's face. It pans out. You see Okuyasu and you see Koichi next to him, and the camera turns to the point where you can see their backs, but you can also see Morio behind them, which is beautiful, beautiful, very, very beautiful animated. And the song, which is by the DU, Crazy Noisy Bizarre Town, if I'm not mistaken, Bizarre Town, Crazy Noisy Bizarre Town, pronunciation. I loved it. It took me a couple of listens to really get into it. The first time I wasn't feeling it too much. I was more into the animation. I would say, but overall, I loved the opening. Great, great, great opening for the start at least. I know we're gonna get at least another opening for this part because this part is huge. And that basically concludes the overview, let's say the review, the analysis of the first opening for Diamond is Unbreakable. Now let me head over to the ending, who in itself has some good little details. It's not as detailed as, of course, the opening, but it's personally, when I first saw the opening from the start, I loved it. The song Savage Garden, I Want You, perfect and unexpected song choice, to be honest, but I loved it. First off, let me just put this like in the entire screen. We get the arrow shown. The arrow is going to play, of course, an important role, and we'll most likely see the reasoning for it this episode 3, the upcoming episode. After that, we just get Josuke pointing the arrow, pointing basically his finger in the direction of the arrow. After the Josuke point, we get this beautiful artwork that I'll probably put over here. So we get Josuke with his hands up, and that's obviously a reference to an original artwork that Araki did a while back, and I just thought you guys might like to see this. After that, we get, and this is going full screen again, the diamond heart. Can someone please explain to me what the diamond actually represents? Because, the heart represents? Because I see it often. I just know it's like on Josuke's coat. I just don't know the actual meaning, and it confused me a little bit because Dio wore it a lot, like on his knee pads. I don't know. If it just has to do with the overall theme of like love for each other, for the family, or some shit. But like the diamond heart, I personally think that this has more to do with. This is more of a reference to the glass diamond, the glass heart that Crazy Diamond uses against the final fight with Yoshikaya Akira at the end of the series. I think it has to do with that. Next up, we get a zoom in. As we zoom into the hearts, we get a shot of like of Jotaro, like the grandfather, Josuke's mom, and it's basically like we're walking with them. We're taking a stroll through Morio. For those of you who aren't familiar with this, the artwork, the color palette that is used for this entire part is basically referencing just artwork that Araki did back in the days, and that's why I'm putting these images right here so you guys can know. Let me see. As we take a stroll through the city, then we also see countless of like characters that I spoke about in the opening as well. We got Okuyasu, we got Keisho, Okuyasu's brother. We got the rock where Angelo gets mixed in, and we get this very interesting artwork that plays a little bit of homage to Araki's art style, which is Josuke holding the house. It's pretty abstract, which is something that I like, and I like how we're zooming into this. And as we zoom into the house, we get here, right here, Koishi, and at first when I saw this, I thought this was the referencing the like the room where he gets stuck in, like the photo room, where Yoshikawa Kira's father, his stand traps them in. But and I thought for a second that that girl to his right was Yukaku, but taking a closer look, like that's not Remy, that's not Yukaku, that's this is referencing I think Koishi's fight with the lock, because I think that's his mother and his sister if I'm not mistaken. So that's what kind of like, oh shit, like it caught me by surprise. So as we walk through the hallway, we get like, and like, I'm speaking from like a video editor's point of view from this, so if you don't understand me, like it's completely fine. But my God, that transition from the end of the hallway to the lighthouse, and as the chorus of the song is kicking in, that's like a video editor's wet dream. Oh my God, it was so clean, so smooth, so perfect. I love it. To the right, and I'm not putting an image of this, but to the right of the lighthouse, you also notice a boat, and that's the boat that obviously references the where Joseph Joestar is going to be arriving from, and that's the fight with Akira and Red Hot Chili Pepper. So really like a little nice little touch. I love how they're keeping Morio like this small town, and like everything is close by and you can recognize everything like from around the block. I love this. And last but not least, and I'll put this like in big right here, we get this beautiful Jojo Part 4 logo. Right there you have the heart symbolizes what I'm guessing Josuke, the diamond, obviously Crazy Diamond. We get that skull, Killer Queen. On the bottom we have that hand that is often portrayed on Jotaro. We get that moon and the sun. And I don't know, like there's this fan theory, and I'll most likely link it in the bottom like of this description. There's this fan theory that that Araki has been planning, and huge spoilers for those of you who haven't read Stone Ocean Part 6, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, if you haven't read it, then just don't listen for a couple of seconds. There's a fan theory basically saying that Jotaro's death was already predicted through Sea Moon, and it's just something really interesting. I'm not going to say too much into it. I'm just going to give you the link down below because it's worth the watch and it's worth listening to the gentleman who talks about this. So I'm just curious how they're portraying this, like the moon, and portraying the moon right above Jotaro's symbol, the hand. I know that's not a symbol for Okuyasu's the hand, but yeah, absolutely loved it. Like listening to the ending, the first part, like I fell in love with the ending right away. Easily my favorite ending of all 4 parts so far, at least. And the opening took me a while to get really into it, but so much, wow, so much good. Opening and ending, part 4, you are on track. Now make sure you keep up that animation that you're doing and you will be perfectly fine. I want to hear another one. I want to hear another ending, another opening, because if they're doing this already, I'm curious as to what the next song will be, because all the JoJo songs I've loved so far when it comes to openings. So I'm already dying to hear the next opening. One last thing that I want to bring up, and that is for regarding the animation of the opening. I kind of wish that they implemented a little bit of the 3D models that they used in the previous parts, even if it was just for like the stands. Like I would have loved to see Crazy Diamond cel shaded, and like just like those parts that Crazy Diamond was shown, I would have loved to see him in 3D cell animation. I've read already that people are happy that it's just full on 2D, but I don't know. I don't know the reasoning either. Like maybe it cost too much because like the studio that made that's making this part, like they who made all the JoJo parts, they basically had to create the models by themselves. So maybe it was true due to budget constraint. And if they could save money on that animation of the opening and put that money into the actual full season one and season two, then I'm completely fine with that. Otherwise, I would have loved to see like a 3D model of like Crazy Diamond cell shaded, or the hands in there, even mixed in with the 2D. Like, I'm curious. I would have loved to see that. What do you guys think? If I missed any important clues or details in this opening and ending, please type them down in the comments below. I really want to know more about this, and I'm constantly reading more about these things. If there's anything else you want to talk about regarding these openings or these endings, did you like it? Among the top four openings, where does this one stand? I guess stand, huh? Comment down below if you like the video. Please like, share with people who might be interested in this. I hope I didn't get too many things wrong. Thank you for watching. Bye.